Hello, this is your friend Papal Penguin, and today we are going to go into Linux Mint. Linux Mint is based upon Ubuntu, and it's a nice little distro that has their own desktop environment that they use called Cinnamon. I have VirtualBox set up, and we're going to just take a look at Linux Mint now. We're going to go through the startup process, which includes the installer, and we will take a peek and see what we can find that's neat about Linux Mint. Now, while this gets running, we're going to make sure that you understand that in a virtual machine, certain processes can be running a little slower than on bare metal. Bare metal being a regular computer that you use on your regular basis. Your mileage may vary. Here we are at the desktop for Linux Mint. We have computer access, the home directory. I have the VirtualBox guest utilities and the install Linux Mint. For our purposes, we will go through the install Linux Mint and go from there. Now, here we see the language choices. You have English, French, a whole bunch of different types of languages that they support. My language of choice is English, that's all I speak, so we'll go with that. And your locale for keyboard layout, it gives me US English, so that's what I will use. It's what I am an American, so I use U.S. English. Now, here is a choice that you might have to decide on your own, whether or not you want to install third-party software. If you have an NVIDIA graphics card, you may want to do this. Also, if you have certain types of Wi-Fi adapters need the third-party adapter software, and MP3s, Flash media, and other things like YouTube and other media types. For our purposes, we'll click check mark that and click continue. And we're going to erase Linux Mint and reinstall. I installed it before and I wanted to take you through the process of installing it. So we're going to just go through the process and click install now. And it's confirming that we want to write the changes, so we'll click continue. And verifying our location. I am in the Eastern time zone, so that will work for us for our purposes. And here's where we get to the fun part. We get to type in our name our computer, and pick a username and password. For today's purposes, I'm just going to call it test. And we're going to give it a super secret password that is not 123. And I will pause the recording and come back after it is finished. Okay, now we are done with the installation, so we are going to click restart now. And when we come back, we'll have a fully loaded system. You can click enter to remove the installation medium, even though it's just an ISO file. And we are coming back now. And it's asking for the password that is definitely not 123. And here we have with our welcome screen from Linux Mint. Welcome to your new operating system, it says. We'll guide you through your first steps to see how you find help and where to get more information. Awesome. So first steps, let's click on that. System snapshots. First thing to do is to set up automatic system snapshot. That's a nice feature. And it asks for our password, so let's take a look here. And it's giving us a couple different choices. We have BTRFS or we have rsync. We'll just stick with rsync for the time being. And create a snapshot, and it's gonna basically create a nice little snapshot of your system to give you an option to be able to restore to a point before where something might not have happened right. And we're going to click cancel since we don't need to do that right now. But that's the system right there. We got device driver manager. Let's take a look at that real quick and see what we got in store for there. These are some nice little touches that Linux Mint does. And of course, it's not going to see very much because of the fact that we are in a virtual machine. And as it shows, there's no proprietary drivers, of course. And we have an update manager. And here's where we have a desktop layout. We have the traditional, which kind of is like a Windows 7 feel. And we have a more of a modern feel, which some may enjoy more than others. I'm going to go with the modern and go from there. And we shall close this window. And here we have the modern look. We have our task manager right here. And we have our Linux Mint menu. And first things that we need to take a look at is the preferences, because there are certain things I want to change on here. And if we go to system settings, that should bring up all the different things that we need to be able to do. Now, here we have themes. In themes, we have a couple different choices out of the box for different types of colors for the window decoration, which is right up here where the close, minimize, and maximize button is. We have icon colors, lots of different choices there. I really like the blue, so we're going to go with the mint dark blue, which is really sharp. And here we have our controls, and I'm gonna go with the dark blue again, just to go with something that I like here. And our desktop, gonna choose dark blue again. And now we have something set up that to the point where I like it. And other things that we have in the system settings, we have our backgrounds, we have our different effects, our font selector. But let's look at the backgrounds and see what kind of choices they have. They have a few different, just your plain old Linux Mint backgrounds right here. This one's kind of sharp looking if you take a look there. And it's kind of cool looking. And then we have our different versions of with a whole bunch of different wallpapers. I like this one right here, especially since I'm from Chicago originally. That's a beautiful picture. I'm gonna have to figure out where they got it. But we're here to explore the actual what comes in it and get a little sense of what we can expect from Linux Mint. Linux Mint comes with a couple different drawing apps, drawing, and we have a, basically a image viewer software, and we have our scanning software. Internet apps wise, it comes with Firefox, it comes with HexChat for IRC, Thunderbird Mail for those that like to be able to download their mail into a program and get it off of the server, and a BitTorrent client. LibreOffice for office apps, a calendar app as well. Now, I've never really used celluloid before, but I have heard Rhythm Box is a very good one. I'm a Spotify fan, so I like to use Spotify myself. But celluloid looks like a good little video player. I'm not exactly sure what kind of. You can open up internet locations, you can open discs, sort of like VLC, I guess. Now, we have different. They have a disk analyzer that shows you how much your disk is space you're using. Your Synaptic Package Manager, software sources for choosing what repos you're going to use, setting up printers, looking at log files to see what kind of what might be causing an error that you might come into. And then we have places where you can quickly jump to, like your music, your pictures, your videos, your downloads, etc. All in all, it's a nice little tight little package. I myself, being a Manjaro fan, I prefer a roll and release, but it's a very sharp distro, and there are a lot of people that recommend it for new users. I would definitely think this is a great little distro for new users, and the fact that it's built upon Ubuntu LTS makes it even perfect for a new user to use, because you're going to find that it's going to be stable and it's going to be a good jumping block for a new user to be able to get away from Windows and be able to start learning how to use Linux, which is really great. Now, the packages that they have for that they actually have for installing applications, we're going to look and see what kind of software is available. Move that. Now, if we were going to look for, let's say, Spotify, let's see if it shows up. And here it is, Spotify streaming music client. And we even see Wine Tricks in there. That's interesting that it shows up for that. But let's look and see and find out if the Snap is installed. Okay, so that is a good sign. If you're not a fan of Snaps, Snapd is not installed by default. And let's take a look and see if Flatpak is. Flatpak does look like it is installed though. So if you're a purist and do not want Snapd and Flatpak installed by default, this might not be the distro for you. But if you do like Flatpaks, it's installed for you by default, and you can get Snaps if you choose to install it. They have gone a different route than Ubuntu has. I myself do not have any major problems with Ubuntu having Snaps and Flatpaks. I think The more choices, the better we'll have. But this has been my report on Linux Mint. I think it's a great distro for a new beginner. It's even a great distro for the more experienced user because it has stability and it has all the things you can have that you would want. But your choices, mileage may vary, so let me know in the comments down below what you think. Remember to like, subscribe, and click that bell icon. I also have a Patreon account. The links are all down on the channel information. Follow me on Mastodon, Twitter. I'm also on Facebook. I know Facebook, right? But also look for me on Discord. I chat with people all the time. I have my own Discord server. The information is right on the YouTube channel's information. So I look forward to talking to you next time and seeing what we can find together on Linux. You have a wonderful day, and thank you so much.